Thanks very much, Victoria. Now, if there's one room that screams majestic, it's this one, the throne room. And the two chairs of estate that you see there were made for the Queen's coronation, one for her and one for Prince Philip. An interesting fact is that she's only ever sat on it once, and that was during her coronation up until the point that she was crowned. So I suppose they are symbolic and now part of history. Talking of which, if we just look that way, you can actually see the chair that was made for the coronation of Queen Victoria. And if we swing round the other way, those were the chairs made for the coronation of King George VI, who was of course the father of Queen Elizabeth II. So, as I say, full of history. It is very regal, isn't it? And this regal setting has also been the backdrop for many official royal photographs, particularly weddings. So if we think back, the portraits of the Queen and Philip, their wedding in 1947. And more recently, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. That was about 7 years ago, back in 2011. And of course, it is the younger royals who will increasingly carry the responsibility for making sure the monarchy is relevant to future generations. Well, let's go over to Marc, who's going to talk a little bit more about that. Marc.
Thanks, Riz. Yes, they've been referred to as the Fab Four, haven't they? But William and Kate and Harry and Meghan, they are, I suppose, the ultimate celebrity couples, really. Well, I'm delighted to say, joining me this evening is Professor Kate Williams. I mean, they're so popular. Well, why do you think that is, firstly?
They are incredibly popular. I think in this country we really do often love young royals. The country adored Princess Elizabeth before she came to the throne. And people really find them very fascinating, the young family, the children. It's, as part of the sometimes press pack, it's very obvious that when the children go with William and Kate, it's double the press pack. Everyone wants a shot of George and Charlotte. So it's really entrancing. The weddings, the children, the youth, they really are seen as the Fab Four, and they very much are the royal family's secret weapon.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking back to those pictures of William and Kate in the Aston Martin coming down here, he looked more like James Bond, not the future king, didn't he?
It was like James Bond, and of course the year after, the Queen was a Bond girl, jumped out of a helicopter over the Olympics. But I think we really have seen, for a long time, William and Harry were quite hidden. They were in university. Harry was in the army. But when they came out, we saw much more of them. So we had the wedding in 2011, the Jubilee in 2012, then Prince George. And it really has been a sort of bonanza of young royal news. And now we've had Harry and Meghan's wedding as well. And I think people are obviously, royal watchers I know, are already looking forward to the first Harry and Meghan baby. So
we're looking at the future as well. We have to say, though, don't we, that there is a section of society that thinks they've had their day, this idea of sort of inherited wealth. Do you think those questions will rise again?
I think those questions are perennial, and I think certainly when we look at history, the biggest surge of republicanism was in the 90s, the Queen paying tax, the burning of Windsor Castle, the breakdown of the Windsor marriages, and also the death of Princess Diana really had an effect on people's thoughts about the monarchy.
They survived it though, didn't they?
It went plunging, and yes, they survived it, and I think we're in a very peak moment at the moment, because particularly, really, it is the younger royals, but it's really due to the Queen. There's so much respect for her. Many of my friends are Republicans, and they say, look, I'm anti the monarchy, but I see that she's done an incredibly devoted duty to a job that she had no choice about. So certainly there's a lot of popularity for the Queen, there's a lot of love for her, but I do think that when we have a change of monarchy, the questions will resurge about what is its use, is it spending too much, do we need these private jets, and what is the future of the monarchy? OK, well, so thank you very much for joining us this evening. Of course, there is nothing, though, still to bring the country together like a royal occasion, and from the cheap seats, back to you, Riz.